Hey guys, this is me, the Toon Shark. Yep, I said Toon Shark and not the Gummy Shark, because for this video the Toon Shark channel's taken over. But anyways, welcome back to a brand new video. So this video here is going to explain about a little special character I've been creating behind the scenes called ScarletBird. If you don't know what ScarletBird is basically my version, or the Angry Birds version of Sonic.Exe. Now, I am aware that Angry Birds is owned by a different company, Rovio, and Sonic.Exe is owned by Joe Doughboy. But don't worry, I'm aware of all that stuff, and this is a concept that I am still working on, and most of the information I wrote it on like a wiki article, which I will provide down in the description for you guys to read. And this video will cover the story as well as some possible additional details about ScarletBird. But anyways, let's get down into the Sonic.Exe incarnation ScarletBird. So, in the beginning, ScarletBird was actually born like after the Big Bang, but before the dinosaurs went extinct. He crash landed onto the dinosaurs' Earth during the Jurassic era, and he laid in dormancy until the dinosaurs that we know, like the T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Triceratops, then that's when he woke up. And when he woke up from dormancy, he first saw one of the dinosaurs, more specifically the T-Rex, and he wanted to study it because it was an interesting life form. However, when he approached the T-Rex began to be aggressive with ScarletBird. But keep in mind that ScarletBird was a little black mass instead of the disguise that he takes later on. So the T-Rex, it proceeded to eat ScarletBird, but ScarletBird managed to break free from the T-Rex, but this experience traumatized him. But ScarletBird, the way he broke free, he used one of his powers, but then, by mistake, after breaking free from the T-Rex's body, the powers reanimated the T-Rex into a sort of zombie-looking character. Well, not character, but definitely a reanimated zombie. The T-Rex then saw a velociraptor and proceeded to destroy it and bring it back for Scarlet. And seeing how loyal the T-Rex was, ScarletBird realized his true potential and then also reanimated the velociraptor. But this also came with how ScarletBird then began to resent the life forms of the planet. But before ScarletBird could take or put his plan into motion, something happened. You see, ScarletBird, he landed and he woke up pretty much days leading up to the asteroid collision with the planet. And so, before ScarletBird could essentially turn the dinosaur kingdom into his own, the asteroid hit and wiped out most of the dinosaurs into extinction. And this event also caused ScarletBird to go back into dormancy, as well as his two new loyal minions. Now, fast forward to the modern day, several centuries later, in 2009, when the new hit game on mobile, Angry Birds, came out, ScarletBird woke up in a new location with new things, buildings, roads, trees. Humans now replaced the dinosaurs. ScarletBird decided to explore most of the area, but made sure to hide his two newest creations, the dinosaur velociraptor loyalists. It then saw a building that said Rovio Entertainment on it. ScarletBird, being curious, decided to approach the building, but took in safety precautions to make sure that these new life forms didn't attack him like the T-Rex did. ScarletBird snuck his way into the building and then proceeded to study everything. He saw a room where the game development for Angry Birds was being done. And he saw the Angry Birds on the monitor as well as on the poster. and he saw the king pig with a crown. Seeing this, ScarletBird was a little jealous, and he thought back to his original plan, and the same one, but he decided to make something new. When the studio closed for the night, he went into the games room where the game was being worked on, inserted himself into the monitor, and found himself in the Angry Birds world, the poached eggs levels. ScarletBird then proceeded to see one of the striking members, the Red Bird, and tried to shapeshift into him. The costume itself wasn't really perfect. It differed from how it was supposed to look, with wide open eyes, thin eyebrows, and Redbird took notice of this, approached ScarletBird, and ScarletBird, that's when he got his name. He nicknamed himself ScarletBird out of a sort of lie he was trying to tell Red. This conversation unfortunately left ScarletBird really upset as he transformed into a monster and converted Red, like how he did with the T-Rex and Velociraptor, into his loyalists. Scarlet then proceeded to come after the other birds, and then he proceeded to also convert them into his loyalists. Then the pigs. The king pig, sadly also fell too. The king pig proceeded to make fun of the loyalist. Thinking it was Redbird, he proceeded to make fun of him. But when King Pig got a closer look at ScarletBird's new design, he was a little off-put. And yeah, that's kind of what led to his demise, as well as being turned into a loyalist. But ScarletBird, it wasn't just about destroying the King Pig anymore. It was about pretty much taking the whole franchise for himself. So he copied and pasted most of his loyalists, reverted the mistakes back to normal, left the monitor, fled the studio back into the cosmos. He tore a hole in the fabric of the environment, basically setting up a new base of operations in there by building himself a castle. But then ScarletBird thought about something for a minute. With such a big castle, there was a small amount of loyalists. ScarletBird knew what he had to do. He had to expand his kingdom. So that day forward, ScarletBird decided to pursue, no matter who it was, like an anime villain or an evil hedgehog with bleeding eyes, he decided to pursue pretty much anybody he wanted. After all, the king needs his followers. And as you guys just heard me explain everything, based on what you guys just heard, this was the origins and how ScarletBird came to be who he came to be. In ScarletBird, a little bit more information is that he's pretty much this evil tyrant who seeks to be the king and all that stuff. And the reason why he's like Sonic.Exe, it's because he is somewhat a virus, and he's also kind of a demonic type character, I guess you could say that. The story is a little in development right now. But he also likes to play games with his victims, as well as also being impatient, which also kind of shares similar traits with Sonic.Omt, when he doesn't really have the sort of patience, or he does, but he doesn't want the characters to test his patience. He can also shapeshift himself into a spider, and he can pretty much just do whatever, and the thing is, the difference between the two is that Sonic.Exe has a god complex. ScarletBird has a king. He views himself as a king. He doesn't brag about him being king constantly. No. He instead sees himself as just the king, the rightful ruler. And he doesn't brag about, like I said, he doesn't brag about his status all the time. No. Even facing higher beings than him, Scarlet knows he could be destroyed. Unlike Sonic.Exe, he pretty much just doesn't take it seriously. Or sometimes he does, but like I said, he just has his complex. But other than that, ScarletBird is also shown to be quite strategic and quite smart, and also knows when to get into action. as seen by him like sneaking into the Rovio building and carrying out his wicked plans. But ScarletBird is also pretty impatient and pretty angry. Nobody's safe. No matter how good you are, no matter how bad you are, no matter it doesn't matter. ScarletBird will still destroy the loyalists, as what he refers to as victims. He will destroy his loyalists no matter who they are. So basically, ScarletBird is really angry. He's never shown to smile. And even if he was trying to smile, it would mask his anger temporarily. And I got most of the information from the article that I created on the Villains Fanon Wiki. If you want, you can read it. That's pretty much all I have to cover for ScarletBird. And yeah, ScarletBird even destroyed himself, too. That's another thing that happened. It's to kind of prove a point that it's not only a form of trickery, but to prove a point that even beings like himself can get destroyed by like himself and all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to cover for ScarletBird. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for probably more ScarletBird updates if I can. But other than that, I will see you guys later. Have a good one.